Welcome to Education Today. I'm Aaron Shaner
And I'm Jenna Walsinovich.
of Ford City High School in the Armstrong School District. Technology is all around us. It's part of everyone's everyday life, whether it's your cell phone, computer, or even your TV. If you haven't noticed, even most new TVs are considered smart TVs because they can connect to the internet and your phone lines.
Armstrong School District has worked very hard to put the best technologies into the hands of our students every year. As discussed in earlier episodes, smartboards, projectors, and many different software packages drive the backbone of most classes. Today, we are going to talk about another technology that is growing in popularity, iPads. You don't have to look far to find educational applications for these devices, and one innovative teacher has found a strong purpose for these in her classes.
Tonight we have two guests with us to talk to us about these devices and their impact in the classroom. Welcome to Education Today.
Would you guys please introduce yourself and your current roles in the district?
I'm Erica Hogan, and I'm a third grade teacher at Lenape Elementary.
Tom Dinga, Lenape Elementary principal.
Nice to have you guys here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Dinga, how was it that these devices made their way into Lenape Elementary?
Well, it began with really Erica's idea. As some of the viewers may know, the Armstrong County School Foundation accepts grant applications from teachers, and teachers really can apply for any type of grant. It's then studied, and certain grants are picked and awarded to teachers, and this goes on twice a year. So Erica had come up with this grant idea that actually made its way to the foundation.
Now, since that grant was mentioned, Erica, could you tell us a little bit about that grant that you wrote?
Sure. I wrote a grant, I would say 2 years ago. It was entitled An Apple for the Students. And what the apple was an iPad too. And when I first wrote the grant, it was just for 5 devices in my own classroom. I wanted to use them as a supplement to our curriculum, what we're already doing in the classroom. And I thought it would be a good idea to have more technology into the school.
How did you come up with the idea to use iPads in the classroom?
Actually, my family had purchased an iPad, and I have 3 children at home, an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old and a now 20-month-old. And my 8-year-old and 6-year-old were using the iPad more than my husband and I were. And I saw all of the applications you could buy that had to do with education. There were so many reading apps and writing apps, and they were using it more, and I thought this would be wonderful to have in my classroom so the students would be able to use these technology.
Now, does this grant only cover in your classes, or do multiple grades and teachers take advantage of this as well?
Well, currently in our building, we have an upper level, and in the upper level, 3rd and 4th grade is where the iPad cart is. 5th and 6th grade has mobile carts, laptop carts that stay in their area. So we thought this was Erica's grant idea. So and Erica's a 3rd grade teacher, so we wanted to keep it there. But because of the steps on either side of that area, thought that those were the next grade levels down from the 5th and 6th graders. It all seemed to make sense. So currently, it's housed there, and the 3rd and 4th grade teachers use the iPad cart at this point.
And so not only did we get 5 iPads, we have more than 5 iPads on a cart. So we got more than what the grant was written for, which was wonderful.
Oh, that's nice.
Smart thinking. What was the students' reaction to getting their hands on these devices?
As you can imagine, they were very excited. A lot of them had iPod Touches at home, so to get a bigger device. Some of them have seen them on TV, so they were very excited to use them.
Have you noticed a difference in the students' learning as far as picking up on the concepts more quickly, or the related things to that?
As you know, as a student yourself, everyone learns differently. And in the classroom, I think nowadays the kids are more digitally minded, so they are able to learn more whenever they use something that's digital. And I think that gains their interest. So I've seen a lot of kids that have excelled using it, and a lot of kids that haven't been able to grasp concepts on paper pencil have done an excellent job using the technology to help them.
What kind of applications do you use with these iPads? Is there any cost associated with them?
Right now, everything we've downloaded has been free. We've been lucky. There are so many free applications out there. we've downloaded, we have 2 different computer programs that we're able to use on the iPad that were funded through Lenape Elementary. We have a system that's called Raz Kids, and what it does is it allows the children to read books and take tests about the books on the iPad. And they're leveled, so every student in your class reads at a different level, so every student has a different level on the iPad. So they're able to read at their own pace, on their own level, at the same time in the classroom, and everybody's reading, so it's helped a lot. We also have another program that's called Study Island that is geared to the Pennsylvania state standards, and we're also able to access that as well, which helps them prepare for the PSSA that we take every year.
Now, are these a simple supplement to the classroom, or are these also used to complete the assignments?
Well, I think originally we thought it was just going to be a supplement, but teachers are so creative. I think they've began to find ways to connect it to the curriculum, and I think, Erica, you have a couple that you mentioned that you've been using.
I think a lot with our spelling curriculum it's easy because there's so many different things you can do with their spelling words, and there's actually an app that's called Spelling and Vocabulary City. So if you put your list in, your spelling list that you have every week, or your vocabulary list, they have about 8 games that you can play with the spelling and vocabulary words, which allows them to use the curriculum also, while as a supplement as well.
That's very good.
Are these strictly a classroom tool, or can they like take it home and play around on and do assignments and stuff?
Actually, we've had some teachers take them home to practice, so they could keep up with the kids, or at least know a little bit about what's happening. There is a sign-out sheet. If teachers, students need to take them home or want to take them home, we do have a sign-out sheet. For the most part, I think they stay in the building at this point.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to take a very short break, and we'll be right back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. Stick around.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like, or what role I would play, or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name's Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. We're talking about the newly placed iPad cart at Lenape Elementary School with Tom Dinga and Erica Hogan.
Mr. Dinga, from an administrative standpoint, what do you see as being the biggest advantage or even a disadvantage to having this technology available to your students?
I think it's really nothing but an advantage, and I think it's a big advantage. I think Erica alluded to earlier, always trying to find a correct level for kids and where they're at. And once we find that level, we build from there. And so our instruction is then focused at that level. So as we build from that base, then we can judge progress from week to week from that level. So it's fair for the students. The other thing that Erica also mentioned is, as everybody knows, and I think you guys probably as well, we all learn in different ways. So our modality of learning, some kids are tactile, some are verbal, some have to hear it, some have to see it. And what the technology does is it obviously is so visual and it's colorful and kids are touching. It's just, it opens up kind of a new world to those kids with different modalities.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any building-wide implementation plan for these or future goal you'd like to see happen?
Well, we'd like to get it down as much as we can to kindergarten, first and second grade. As I mentioned, the fifth and sixth graders have their 2 mobile carts with their laptops that come to them. Third and fourth in our building now have the iPad cart, and we're trying to be creative, hopefully, as we go on with scheduling in K-2 and seeing if they can also get involved in it, because the kids younger and younger are certainly comfortable with technology, so that would be our goal eventually.
Now, for either of you, what effect, if any, do you see if the continued use of this technology on the curriculum?
Well, I'll start and I'll let Erica jump in. The technology between the smart boards and the computer labs and the laptops and now the iPads, and, it goes without saying, it just is changing rapidly, and it'll continue to do that. I think the more you get kids in at an earlier age and are comfortable with it, as new changes and new applications and technology come along, they're going to be comfortable with it as things change, and will adapt to those changes, I think, a lot quicker.
Also, the textbook companies are already starting to make apps that go along for the iPad. So the Math and Vision series that we have in elementary has one chapter finished, and I'm sure they're going to have many more. And I'm sure that a lot of the other textbook companies will also have applications to go with their textbooks, so it'll go along with the
That's
curriculum.
neat. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, fascinating. Erica, what are your goals with this grant?
I think now that we have the iPads, I've been to a training already, and my goals are basically to learn more and get new applications, and for the students to have as much access as they can to them. I know that the training I went to was called "I have an iPad for my classroom, now what do I do?" And I think since we've gotten the cart until now, I've changed what I do already. So I think just learning new things and finding out more about the technology will help.
This probably goes with what you just said, but since this is technology and there is something new like always coming out, do you envision altering your approach or the application as the years go on?
Definitely. The more you learn, you're going to change, and when you find something better, you're going to use that and keep doing it and making your lessons better and giving the students more opportunities to use the different technology.
How many iPads were purchased, and how many students get to take advantage of them?
Well, the cart came with 28 iPads, and currently in the area of the building that we talked about, we have 250 kids that have access to them. Erica created a lab schedule for her peers up in that area, and so at least once and sometimes twice a week, those third and fourth graders go through that schedule and are able to work on.
Well, what, if any, feedback have you received from parents about the iPads in the classroom?
Everything I've heard and talked to the parents with has been positive. They're all excited that the students have the opportunity to use the iPads in the classroom. I know a lot of the kids came back to school after Christmas and their parents had purchased a family iPad, and if they already had one, they're downloading the apps that we have at school onto their home iPad, and they're sharing it with their younger brothers and sisters or older brothers and sisters. So I think it's had a great impact.
Sounds like a wonderful tool to have when teaching. Is there anything else you'd like to add for the benefit of our viewers?
Well, I would just like to say for our staff in general, I'm really proud of our teachers because they're always looking for a better way to instruct, and they're very open to whatever works. And because of that, our teachers share a lot of ideas. They're constantly sharing whatever it may be. And in this case, with Erica's experience with the iPads, she has really shared a lot of her knowledge with her peers that are using them, and it's been a great thing to watch as they're kind of teaching each other going through it. And I know we have teachers now, veteran teachers, that really started with no knowledge of that and really have gained a lot of knowledge because of Erica's support in that. And our teachers in general do that, and we're really proud of them, but in this case, it's a specific example of how that teacher learning continues as well as student learning. Yeah.
Well, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guests, Tom Dinga, Lenape Elementary Building Principal, and Erica Hogan, one of Lenape Elementary's teachers, and writer of the grant that brought the first iPads into students' hands, for taking the time out of their busy schedules to talk about this exciting new technology for our district. Our thanks goes out to the TV production students of Fort City High School, led by their teacher, Miss Bobby Hamill. They were our film crew for today.
Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated information about the district, and have a great week.
Welcome to Education Today. I'm Courtney Edwards
And I'm Blake Davis.
of Katanning High School in the Armstrong School District. Cell phones have become a huge part of everyday life, especially for students. With the increased usage of cell phones comes an increase in the number of potential consequences. Tonight, we are going to discuss the students' perspective on cell phone usage and their use while in school. With us tonight, we have two of our AHS-TV production students. Welcome to Education Today. Would you please introduce yourselves and tell us what year you are in?
I'm Lucian Holian, and I'm a junior at Katanning Senior High School.
I'm Kiara Ebig, and I'm a senior at Katanning High School.
Thanks. I just have some questions for you. How long have you had a cell phone?
I got my first cell phone back in 8th grade.
I got my first cell phone back in 7th grade.
Do you currently own a smartphone?
Nope,
Yes, I do.
I do not.
All right. Do you use your phone in school?
I try not to, but if my mom texts me and I have to pick something up, I will. Take it out, send her a quick message back.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I do use it from time to time. Not when this teacher is trying to explain something to me, but when, there's nothing really to do and I'm not paying attention really, yeah, I will use my smartphone.
All right. I think we all can say that we've done that.
Yeah.
Do you use your phone to help you in class sometimes? If you do, give me a few examples.
I've used my phone to help me in class sometimes. If, I get a question from my dad about something we're doing in Power Tech, but that's probably the only time. That was a one-time thing.
Yeah, I don't really use my phone in class for school purposes.
You never use it for like a calculator or anything?
No, I do. I use it for a calculator, but that's about it. I never really looked up anything for a test.
Do you think that it's fair that only some people can use them just because of the prices?
I think that if we are allowed to have cell phones in school, I don't think it would be quite fair because I'd be giving a higher advantage to kids that have smartphones compared to kids that don't. Kids without the cell phones would have to do more work and have to use more school resources than the kids with the smartphones. So I think it would be unfair.
It's true.
Would you please repeat the question?
Do you think that it's fair that only some people can use them in school just because of the price if we were allowed to use them in school?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't have much to talk about on that topic.
All right. Do you think that the use of smartphones could help you improve your grades if you were able to find different resources and like apps on your phone?
If I had a smartphone and I was able to look up questions, and I was allowed to use it, I would. But I don't think it'd be fair to the other kids, but I'd still do it just to help myself.
I agree. I would do that too. But I do have a smartphone, but at the same time I don't do that, so.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with Armstrong School District's Education Today.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name is Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. We're talking about cell phone usage in schools from the student's perspective. What are some reasons why students should not be allowed to have smartphones in school?
It would be a distraction. When the teacher's teaching, they'd take them out, be looking, playing games, surfing the web, instead of paying attention to what the teacher's saying.
I agree, and I feel that it's rude. The teacher's there to teach you and you're there to listen, and if you're playing with your smartphone, then how are you supposed to listen and give your full attention?
Do you think that the use of cell phones in school would help or hinder students?
They could help students in school. They'll be able to look at questions, look them up if they're doing a book report and they don't have access to the computer at the time. They could look up information to help them.
I agree with that, but at the same time, what about the people who don't have smartphones and they don't have a computer at the time? Then what are they supposed to do?
Do you feel that more students abuse smartphones rather than help with their learning?
I can see it both ways. I have seen students using their cell phones a lot to help them in school, but at the same time, I can see students messing around on them.
I think that students mess around on their phones more than using them to help them in school. Like, would you rather go on Twitter or would you rather use a calculator?
If cell phones were no longer banned, do you think that students will still abuse their phones?
I believe that if cell phones were no longer banned, I believe there'd be more abuse of cell phones. There'd be no risk of losing your cell phone and getting it taken away. So there'd be more opportunities for you to abuse.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you're not allowed to, but at the same time, if you're not allowed to do something, then you're going to do it. But if you are allowed to do something, then it's not going to be something to not do, so you won't do it.
In order to keep up with today's society, do you think more school districts should allow the use of smartphones for educational purposes?
I think that in some classes, the use of cell phones would help, like physics or chemistry or some of the higher classes. They're faster than the computers we have in school.
I agree with that. And there also is a lot of sites on the computers at school that you can't go on that have more information. And on your smartphone, you can go on any site you want.
Well, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guest, Kiara and Lucian, for taking the time to talk us about the usage of cell phones in school. Our thanks go out to the TV production students of Katanning High School, led by their teacher, Mr. Dawn Swanson. They were our film crew today. Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated information about the district, and have a great week.